Wolf Nation, this is your captain speaking. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Realmhattan Project. My name is Eric von Wolfenstein, and we got a full house tonight, plus one. We got E. Prime, we got Gort, we got Joe S., and joining us, special guest is Eric B. Welcome. Glad to have you as always. So look, this is normally the part where we banter about and tell you about our weeks, but we know you don't care about that tonight. We're going to do a little thing we call Toy Madness. Gort, bring it up. That's right, folks. We have, in honor of March Madness, if you don't know, college basketball, it's that time of year where we find out who the best team in the world is, college basketball. 64 teams battle about until there's one left, and we're going to do our own little toy version of that tonight, except we did 32 instead of 64, so please forgive us if you think we're lazy. So the way we did it, it's not like normally, it won't be like a Transformers versus just all Transformers, excuse me, trying to talk too fast. It won't be all Transformers versus like all Mode 2. We kind of broke it down into little subgroups. We got like Chug Transformers versus like Jurassic World, or Mode 2 Classics versus Power Rangers, things like that. We kind of broke it down a little bit, the 32, what we think are strong lines to go together to find out who is the ultimate. And here we go.
All right,
Gort,
we want to show them?
Show them.
All right.
Oh.
Take that in a little.
Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
These were completely randomized by Gort, by the way. We didn't.
Yeah, we had come up with
no real thought went into this.
Yeah, we came up with this stuff,
Yeah.
and I put it into a randomizer. I threw it all in there.
We don't have the tools that the NCAA has, so we do what we can with our budget. And, of course, we have the other side of the bracket.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
So some of these are probably going to be slam dunks. Some are going to be a little bit more harder. Will we have a Cinderella story? Who's going to bust the bracket? Let's get started, boys. Let's go.
Woo. All right. Interesting.
So we're going to start on the left-hand side. We're doing the top one first. What do we got there? We have Jurassic Park versus Power Rangers. Power Rangers being the original Power Rangers, Gort, is that what we decided?
Yeah.
93.
So I talked about that with Esteban and what he thought, was kind of the fair stretch of the full toy line. It's pretty much Mighty Morphin all the way up to, I think he said it was Ninja Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was 2018. So it's a pretty good stretch for Power Rangers. Jurassic Park, that was 1993 through, I think it was 2001 with Jurassic Park 3. So what's under the Jurassic Park branding there? So you have the 3 original movies only.
Power Rangers.
Oh, you want to give it to them right away?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with
the
him.
debate here.
Let's hear some arguments. Gort, you're our dinosaur expert, resident super fan.
Oh boy, dude, that series had dino damage. Dude, that shit was the best.
You got to look at the cultural impact.
I know.
And that Power Rangers had, and fucking shit.
No,
Keep
I think
going.
the Power Rangers is definitely that's the strong team here against Jurassic Park. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Dino Damage, one of my absolute favorite toy features in a toy line. They had that rubbery, real feel skin is how they were advertised on all the larger dinosaurs, and you can just gore them. That was fun.
Yeah, but you gotta give Power Rangers credit for also tying back in the love of mechs with human drivers from the 80 kids, right? So like people who love Voltron instantly connected to Power Rangers. It was very similar.
Yep.
Agreed. You can't ignore the impact. You cannot ignore the impact. Joe, any thoughts to add on this?
So yeah, I'm going to go with I know we've already filled in the first one, but I agree culturally Power Rangers on that one. Sorry, something popped up I had to deal with. But next bracket, Voltron for me.
And of course, the chat squad is welcome to chime in. Let us know what you're thinking.
Voltron against the entire TMNT NECA.
Yeah, I might have to strongly disagree with that. And just to be clear, before I fully disagree, we're talking Voltron from what spell? Are we talking a full breadth of Voltron? Everything that's come in that line?
We had kind of thought about doing the idea here is that toy lines were supposed to have been around for a couple years to be qualifying in here at all, but some things we just, they're fan favorites. We wanted to get them in, and we thought it was going to be very kind to Voltron to incorporate like the full scope of branding for them.
Real
in
quick,
this case.
hate to
We
interrupt.
also, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
gotta step away for 1 second. I
Sure.
put my votes in for this side of the bracket, but I should be back soon. Be right back.
Okay, I gotcha.
One other thing I want to add to this is we were kind of focusing just on the toy aspect. Like, you might notice that Transformers Masterpiece is not on this list because we felt Transformers Masterpiece was more a collectible for adults than it actually was for kids. If you agree with that or disagree with that, but feel free.
Okay, so we should be thinking back to our kid selves to an extent, right? Like the enjoyment we had of an extent, then that instantly would eliminate NECA TMT because that's more of an adult-centered collection line. Kids aren't collecting that.
See, I was kind of thinking the same thing on that when we originally had this conversation last week.
Yeah, we ran into that with Mythics as an example, where that's clearly a collector item because Motu Classics is on here also, and that's something that at one point did turn into the subscription service. So at the end of the day, we kind of qualified it as if you can hand it to a kid and they can play with it. And I know that Motu Classics does have its issues in that department, but they're not going to shatter everything left and right, which is probably the case with a Masterpiece Transformer. That's what we were using as the distinction. So that's why everything is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'll switch it back then. So, I don't know. Now that makes it tough. All right, I'll come back. I'll close it out. Yeah.
Look, I'll go ahead and say that. Look, you got Lions coming together. You have, your other vehicles and everything coming together. Your different teams in Voltron, but NECA brought us something that we never got, and that was a representation for those 1988 cartoon turtles.
That's
and
true.
It's the first time we were getting it. We just never had that, in the original toy line. They didn't quite look the show. Some things were such a departure. Like I'm looking at you, General Trag.
And for me, Gord, that's why I would have picked that as well. But I have to think back as a kid in this one. I'm gonna have to harken back. And I remember always wanting a Voltron set and the many different versions of Voltron that were out. The plastic version as a kid that maybe not a combined, but at least you were able to have a representation of it. The Tonka version as a kid, where it was the big metal blocks and they just, I mean, it was glorious. And even when the paint kind of chipped, you still knew it was Voltron. And kids loved that. It was expensive. It was hard for some kids of my demographic to have, but when you seen it, you knew it was Voltron and everybody was excited to play it. And they didn't even care about the human aspect of it. It was Voltron. So I think Voltron carried a lot into the 80s and probably bridged the gap between some of the 80s properties that we had. I'm gonna have to go with Voltron.
Yeah, and like looking at like the entire breadth of Voltron too, the impact that the most recent stuff had as well. The
Legendary Defender, the shoot Blitzway, giving us the ultimate version of Voltron. Was great as well. I mean, even SOC giving us the Die Rugger, which the vehicle Voltron team, a lot of people wanted but couldn't get, or couldn't find all the pieces because it was so many of them. I just remember that more. Like NECA, I went in on the NECA TMT line as an adult because I wanted a representation of what I remembered as a kid with the cartoon. But it's hard to pass up Voltron.
And the one thing I could say, NECA wasn't just the cartoon with Turtles. Don't forget they went with all three movies as well so far.
Yes,
we've
got a pretty good toy line, I think, for the first two. The third, they've just done the Samurai Turtles, and I'm not sure what they'll continue with that. But getting a Master Tatsu, that was really big. I know we had Movie Star Turtles in the original line, but what NECA's done is very different. And then there's the Monster Turtles and everything else, and that's just... you can call it the cash grab, if you will, but I think that's all in the spirit of what all the Ninja Turtle mashups and such were in the original line also.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Big Pop always brings up that the NECA also did movies, Mirage, Cartoon, and Last Ronin, which were also nice-looking figures.
Very popular. Very popular.
For that matter, Archie comics, they've started in on too.
So where are we at now? We got 2 for 2 and 2?
Yeah, and Private Chat's got EE's pick.
EE's got...
I didn't get mine, so...
You're the tiebreaker.
I am the tiebreaker. I'm glad we did have 5 tonight. Okay. Man, I tell you, you guys make compelling arguments for Voltron, but I think I got to give it to TMT.
All right. I give you that. Well,
Yeah.
that's a good tiebreaker.
Yeah, just what they're doing right now, and then like Gort said, they're doing figures that no one really had, like cartoon figures, man. I think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't worry, Willie, we're getting there.
Hey yo.
All right, next up we got wrestling as a whole. I mean, I guess we're including WWE figures, is what we meant by wrestling, versus Motu, the 1982 toy line, obviously 1982 to 1980, whatever they stopped at. The whole entire vintage line. What do you got, guys?
Can I just say before we pick that one, that is an amazing matchup for a few different reasons.
Okay.
So He-Man, when it was those little origin figures that we know them as now, but the original line was built very similar to wrestling figures as a kid. A lot of those wrestling figures were kind of built off the same buck, or they had the same stance. Not the ones that you put the thumb in the backside, because even those were cool, but like I remember that very distinctly. This is a great matchup.
Okay. That's a good point. You're right. Who wants to go? What do you got, Joe? Who you picking?
Motu. Like, yeah, wrestling you had, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the 80s was a good golden age of wrestling. And then the only thing to me can be topped with that is the late 90s, early 2000s stuff, more late 90s. But, you know, it's like you had the figures, and then what did you have? You kind of had a ring, maybe a couple other things. But with Motu, there was so much more. You know, the castles, the vehicles, you know, all the little gimmicks and all of them. It's Motu for me all day long.
Gort.
Oh, I'm definitely Masters of the Universe. I've never been a wrestling guy.
All right, 2 Motus. Eric B., what do you got?
Man, on any given Sunday, it could change. Flip a coin, it'll be He-Man. Flip a coin, it'll be wrestling figures. I had more wrestling figures as a kid, well, vicariously through hand-me-downs, than I did have any He-Man figures, so I'm going to go with the wrestling figures.
Motu.
Okay, I think that Motu wins it. That's probably where I would have swung to.
See, I don't disagree with what they're saying right here, in a way. Like, massive toy line against a smaller offering, but Motu's just cooler.
I'll agree
For
with
me,
that.
personally.
Swords and Sorcery, got
And
giant cats.
remember, we're talking about the toy lines, not the history of the WWE
fiction and all that.
versus the history of Motu. You know,
Yeah, right.
at its height, Motu was the highest selling toy line of the '80s. So wrestling was not as cool as some of those LJN big ass figures that we had back then that had no posability. Were no. Sorry.
Man, don't act like you didn't have a wrestling buddy.
I did. I said it as cool as they were.
Who'd you
Yeah,
have?
I had a couple of them. Yeah. Those
Jump
big
off the
rubber
top
hard
rope.
ass things. Just throw 'em around the house. Hell yeah.
I forgot about those. Those are cool.
Yeah.
I always wanted one of those.
Man.
All right, next bracket. We got DC Universe Classics versus G.I. Joe Classified. I think I know where this one's going.
Yeah, this is easy.
Who wants to go first on this one? I'll go first. You know what? Classified all day long.
And twice on Sunday.
I mean, DC Classics just. I mean, it was a good. I never had any, but you know, it's an old line. Crap articulation. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The
Sculptor
Classified all day.
It's
The Sculptor
Motu
Ice,
Classics,
and it was
but
good selection.
DC characters. That's what it was. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if you match this up against G.I. Joe 3 3/4 inch, G.I. Joe still wins. Like, it's not even a competition, man.
No, yeah, I agree. I know
It's how some of them
Classified
are going to
is-
kind of be. There's some of these brackets are definitely juicier than others.
Hey, listen, that's how it happens in the tourney. So
Some of these toy lines are like East Carolina State. They got no business
All right.
being here, but they're here.
They did their best.
Is this a unanimous G.I. Joe classified?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, like, what's your opinion?
Does
Like,
anyone? No, I mean, let's go
Uh,
now real
yeah.
quick.
G.I. Joe Classified all day long.
Okay.
It just doesn't
There it is.
compare.
You know what? Let's keep this in order. Wolf, you do the first vote, and then we go down the screen.
All right, that's fine. Let's do
This
it.
way, no one gets forgotten.
cool.
Because it's very easy to forget Joe.
Shit.
Dang, homie.
Oh,
Hey.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna send you something in the mail.
next up we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nickelodeon versus Marvel Animated U. Gort, can you give me some little clarification on that one?
So this is the 2012 computer animated Nickelodeon Turtles, and Marvel Animated Universe. We just kind of lumped it all together. So this is
Not
from
Marvel
the 90s.
Legends.
No, not Marvel
Right.
Legends, but from the 90s. This is the X-Men,
Iron Man,
Spider-Man,
X-Men,
Fantastic Four,
Spider-Man.
Hulk, Iron Man.
Yep.
It's all those lines.
Saturday
from-
morning
Yeah.
cartoon stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
If
you go.
that helps you guys.
Ooh. All right.
Ooh,
Go ahead, Wolf.
So 2012 TMNT versus Marvel Animated U. I got to give it to. I think Marvel Animated U was bigger. I do. I just think those were more popular. I mean, I know the shows were. Maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way because I was going to say the shows weren't popular.
It's also what we think. It's not necessarily like
Yeah.
what made the most money, what's the most popular. I think that can help make a choice though.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd give me those figures any day over anything 2012 TMNT. That's just how I feel.
Oh, Willie.
Sorry, Will, we tried. EE.
Yeah, I think I had to go with Marvel here.
Okay.
Bingo. Listen, same. The X-Men cartoon, the 90s, it yielded so many figures alone, so many play sets, so much, so many gimmicks that we didn't see in figures around that time was just pretty awesome. Spider-Man, the same thing, like the suction cup, of course, but just the different elements with like Hydra Man and not Sandman, but Doc Ock with the bendable tentacles and all that stuff. Like it was just cool to see, man. And you could, yes, it mirrored the cartoon, but it made your experience watching the cartoon that much more better when you had that toy in front of you. So I'm going with them, the MAU.
All right, Joe. We know it's advancing, but Joe, what do you think?
Yeah.
Same?
Yep. Same. Marvel AU. And to cap on what Eric B said was like my favorite figure from that whole line was Iceman. So he had his little sled with a recessed rectangle. You put his feet in, you put a little bit of water in, and then you put it in a freezer and it freezes. You got this ice block on his feet. You could slide it down the slide. Like that was just awesome.
Genius, man. Genius stuff.
Gore, you got anything that you want to add to that?
Oh, look, I'm a big turtle guy, but I got to give it to the Marvel animated line here. Between all those toy lines, there was a lot of characters out there. It was very comprehensive at the time. So I think that's where it's going.
Marvel Animated U advances. Tremendous.
All right.
All right. So I think this next one will be interesting. We've got McFarlane DC Multiverse versus the original Beast Wars toy line.
Boy.
I think this is a good one.
I do too.
McFarlane DC, obviously a huge. I mean, I know Ricky's probably pulling his hair out right now, but I mean, they're a bit.
McFarlane
DCU.
You mean the McFarlane Batman line?
Yeah.
Nice. No, I mean, they're obviously huge steps up from the DC Classics figures. They did a lot of characters, but Beast Wars brought the franchise back. I mean, those were popular toys, popular show.
But but was the toys actually was it a good toy line?
It was definitely a good toy line.
Yeah.
I think it was a good toy line, and I think it was an important toy
I
line,
have to
too.
ask because
This was not
I hate them both.
So G2 Transformers had the introduction of the ball joints for Transformers, but Beast Wars made it very prominent, and they had a lot of articulation. Like these were well-made figures. Like you could pose them, you could transform them quick. They were fun. You know, gold plastic syndrome aside on a few of them.
True.
That's the worst I could say about that line. McFarlane don't have gold plastic. What's your excuse?
I got to give it to Beast Wars again, just because I think it was an important line that brought the franchise back, and they were good toys. They were.
Look
Prime.
at Ricky.
You knew it.
100%.
What do you think, E?
Just to be me, I'll say McFarlane here.
Oh,
Fuck Beast Wars and any iteration that ever came with it. Garbage show. Stupid.
all
Well,
right.
the first toy line I ever bought with my money, my own money, Transformers related, was Beast Wars. I was a huge
Nice.
fan of the G1 stuff. Never could afford it really. I had some hand me down pieces, which were cool. So I wanted to check it out. It was okay. Did not go any further in it, but I did appreciate what it did for the toy collectors, and I mean just the toy line period. Like that was the first time you had Transformers in stores again in a long time. So I'm going
Let's
there.
maximize.
Eric, what was the
Yeah.
first Beast Wars figure that you bought there with your own money?
Silverbolt.
Nice.
I want to say it was Silverbolt.
Nice one.
Do you know
That's
how
the
many
Eagle,
times I
right?
launched those
The missiles.
the wings? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Silverbolt was cool. And then I had the I ended up getting, I don't remember his name, so it escapes me, but the White Tiger.
Tigertron.
Tigertron, yeah. And I was like,
love
oh,
them.
this is cool. That one was dope.
Fucking name Tigertron. The fuck.
There was Cheetor that got fed too much food.
Cheetos?
He's making
What?
fun of
Cheetos?
Beast Wars.
Cheetos?
What's DC
Cheetos?
got? Aquaman. He's a waterman.
Make a Batman the greatest superhero. of all
H2O
time.
guy. Ooh.
Mm.
All right, so we got what? Two Beast Wars and a McFarlane. Joe, what do you got?
Beast Wars. The toys were like Wolfie already said, or not Wolfie, Gord already said, the the ball joints. You had articulation, and you had stuff that looked like what it was supposed to look like. You know, and but
I agree, Esteban.
yeah. But I mean, those toys were still great, and they're still fun to play with and mess with today. I'm going with them.
All right, Gort, you want to throw in anything?
Oh, I'm
You
totally
know where
Beast
he's
Wars.
going.
You're going Beast Wars.
Did you even have to
I
ask?
thought that was going to be a clean sweep with Mr. Contrarian over there.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know way I could give Beast Wars get a
You
fucking
know, and he had to mess with Ricky just because. Come on now. You know what time it is.
All right, next up we got DC Animated Universe versus Mask DC Animated Universe. Obviously, the same thing as the Marvel thing we just did.
Yeah.
Any of
So
those
this
DC
is-
figures versus Mask.
This is going to be Batman the animated series, Superman animated series, and then
That was the question.
Justice
If
League.
this is including that Batman animated series line. Okay.
Oh, dang, that changes things. All right. Nope.
Just
I'll wait
just
till
the
it gets to my turn.
Just the original. This is the Kenner Hasbro's.
Okay, this is a little tough. You know what? E, go ahead. I'm thinking about this one. Go ahead.
I think the minute when you put that Batman animated series in, how big that line was, all the things that were made for that line, including that Batmobile, I think it's the clear winner in the end. I mean, Mask was a short-lived toy line, and I know it has a lot of nostalgia to it, but if Loyal Subjects had already been out and it was being rolled into this conversation, then you might have a stronger case. But when you compare those particular two toy lines, it's got to be DC Animated.
DC Animated. Okay, Eric B, what you got?
Well, I'm going to have to give a little pushback there, only because I never got the chance to get the Mask figures when I was a kid, but I wanted them bad.
Same,
like very
same.
bad. The Batman animated series stuff, while it was cool, was very limited in articulation. And when I think about playability and stuff like that, I for sure enjoyed more of the Mask stuff than I did the Batman animated series stuff. Now it was cool. It was very nice. And he's right. He added a breath. It added breath to that line, but it wasn't messing with Mask, bro. Mask was just crazy. And even with a short run, the ability to do so much with so little was great.
I got to play into the articulation thing because those little Mask figures probably had more articulation just because of the knees.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
That's
Joseph.
So I'm going with Eric B. Just the simple fact that other than Batman the Animated Series, I don't remember anything else from the DC animated universe back then. Like, I know there was stuff, and when we talk about it now, I get it. But like in terms of the toys and stuff like that, I don't remember him seeing a presence. I don't remember having a desire to get them, things like that. And even when you look within our group, more people are excited about mass stuff, or there's more talk about mass stuff. Now I know it's been a little bit more because of the stuff with the loyal subjects coming out than you do Batman stuff. I mean, no offense to Ricky, but I mean Ricky is, he's probably the biggest Batman fan that I know in the group, and he seems to be the only voice that's really, really excited about this stuff. So I've got to go with Mask.
All right, Mask 2-1. Court, make it interesting.
I'm DC animated on this one.
Ooh, why DC animated?
Simply put, it's what I had growing up. I had a fair amount of the Batman figures, majority of the villains. I had, all the Robins, Nightwings, between, Dick and Tim there. And, but they were fun. Even like I had a Superman where you could snap on, stuff to make him Clark Kent. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
He looked like a doof. He had a backpack on to hide his cape because it was a cloth cape. I always thought that was like, he could have made it a snap-on cape. It would have been nicer. But, it was just they were fun figures. I used to love watching those cartoons.
So, hey,
that's all I
Gordon,
could say.
do you think Superman just doubles up his cape in his shirt, or do you think he tucks his cape in his pants like a long shirt?
Down the left
and
leg.
mass shifts.
just the left leg.
Yeah.
The
That's
more
why
you
Lois
know.
loved him.
All right,
Wraps
so
it through the back and around to over the top in the front.
All right, so we're 2-2 here. I'm the tiebreaker. I don't know, man. I mean, Mask. Again, Eric B. I'm with you. I never had it. I always wanted. I just love vehicles that change and transform and do things, even if they didn't do robots.
Yep.
But that DC animated line, I don't know.
Take out the Batman figures and see how you feel.
But you can't do that. No, you can't do that. You can't. That's.
Well, we're talking about the whole line. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but that's part of the line, and that was one of the biggest parts of the line.
But
you can't be like,
even if you just
eliminate
remove
this
Batman,
and that works. Wow.
Even if you remove Batman himself, you're left with like the entire Rogues Gallery. They made basically everybody in that toy line.
I'm going DC animated.
Oh no!
We
can't get
sliver.
We can't get the Mask and the Star Wars 3 3/4 inch because Bayverse. We all know that's out of here.
Well, remember we're talking about the toys, and does this also include the official MP?
No.
No, but
Okay,
but
we're doing just the mainline
I wrote
stuff over
Bayverse because
okay.
to me, it still gets the slight. But it is the movie toy line. So this is for the 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever, all the movie lines that came out. But like those first 3 movies, I would say were the biggest ones. They had damn near full aisle in like Walmarts and Targets and stuff at a point in time. Like
they did.
This, just like Beast Wars, Bayverse with those toys really brought Transformers back.
Yeah.
I don't know where we'd be today without it. At the same time
There's
was
no
hard
competition. I think
it was hard to break this down with Star Wars 3 3/4 because we're doing this from 1995 to right now because there's been a continuous toy line in the 3 3/4 scale the entire way through, even if at one point in time it went back to 5 POA.
Oof.
So wait, just to verify.
This is 30 years of 3 3/4 Star Wars.
All right.
Again,
95.
the last.
We're not.
15
This isn't the
years of the other
70s
shit.
stuff like where it first came out.
Yeah,
70s,
this
80s.
is Power of the Force 2 forward. Green and orange cards, long sabers, the prequels, Clone Wars, Legacy, Saga, Vintage Collection.
Don't be swayed. Don't
Transformers
let
turn
them
into
pressure
vehicles.
you.
Star Wars flies vehicles.
Don't let them do it.
I gotta go Star Wars 3 3/4. I just think those Bayverse, anything Bayverse is trash. I'm sorry. I can't. I hate those designs.
Look,
They look like piles of parts just glued together.
Holy fuck! I forgot the best one, Shadows of the Empire.
listen. For all, as you said, Bayverse has done for the franchise as a whole, even going back to just starting from '95 for Star Wars. Besides all the figures, the play sets, the vehicles that they've done, and that scale for these toys, there's no contest, man. You know, it don't matter how bad the movie that came out was. It don't matter how bad anything the Star Wars stuff is, just still making shit.
All right, you're going 3 3/4.
Yeah, it's gotta be Star Wars.
Eric B.
Well, seeing that I didn't get into Star Wars until I was an adult, I gotta go Bayverse. So here's the reason and why for me.
Okay.
I do remember that movie reinvigorating the franchise. I do remember those toys being readily available and being fun to mess with. Optimus Prime, cool figure. The auto transforming Bumblebee, phenomenal. I actually got it as an anniversary gift for my wife when a dating anniversary. We weren't even married, just a dating anniversary. I think it was $100. She bought that. I remember having so much fun with that Camaro that converted into Bumblebee and shot a missile and played all the lights and sounds as an adult. So just imagine what it would have been like if it was a toy line for kids. Like it would have been, I can imagine kids having a great time with it. The second movie, having that Optimus Prime and that Jetfire combined, and those things were $50 a piece. At $100, having that combined mode, it was fun. Like it was a really fun toy line. So say what you want about the movies, cool. Say what you want about what they look like in the movies. I get it, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But the toys were fun. They sold well, and they were very popular amongst adults and kids. And let's not even, you go to Human Alliance, that's basically Mask. So you had the crossover effect that reminded people of the nostalgia of what they had as a kid, because I had that Human Alliance. I had all of them, but just having the little figure go into those vehicles and then transform and make a playset out of the robot, making him a mech almost, but he had his own personality with those. It was pretty cool. I never cared about Star Wars like that. And even when I saw the stuff in the stores, I thought some of the stuff looked cool, like a TIE fighter. Cool, great. Millennium Falcon has history, but I didn't care enough to go buy the stuff. So for me, it's got to be Beast Wars. Bayverse.
That's a good argument. I knew you were the right guy to bring in for this. It's a good argument. Brink, to answer your question, this is modern vintage scale. Joseph.
Yeah, Brian,
you got
95 to current.
Yeah. So I can tell you this. I have not, other than recently, because I wanted to build something with Legos. I got that itch, and I spent $10 on a little Lego TIE Interceptor, right? A Star Wars TIE Interceptor. That is the only Star Wars figure that I bought in probably almost ever. And I love like original 3 trilogies. I love Star Wars as a kid, but I never got into the toys. I never got into the figures. Now, with that also being said, I do not have one open Bayverse figure in my collection. I got like the first run deluxes still on the bubble, bagged up, eventually they're going to be sold. But between the two, I do technically have more Transformers than Star Wars. I'm kind of meh on either of these at this point, from 95 forward on the Star Wars stuff. So I'm just going to simply for the fact that I've got more Transformers and Star Wars figures since then from the Bayverse stuff. I'm going to go with them.
Wow. We're all right. Tied up 2-2. Gort, you are the tiebreaker, my friend.
I don't think there's much of a. Anybody want to take a bet where Gort's going to go with this?
Come on, we know.
Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
I'm going with Star Wars on this.
Of course,
I will be very fair and say that when we were coming up with the list, I was the one that initially did the big push to even have the Bayverse in here at all, because I think it is an important part of the toy line that Hasbro had put out and for the franchise. And there's plenty of things in here where I would very easily, and for a lot of the same reasons that Eric was saying, make that same case in its favor, but not against the 3 3/4 Star Wars. Maybe other
I-
Star
Your
Wars.
baby.
I think
Favor so well.
I'm looking at this left-hand column real quick. I think Bayverse would actually beat Voltron.
You
Okay.
think?
When
Beast
we get there.
Wars. Maybe even Jurassic Park. I think
If it would have got a easier.
if we got it, this,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
number 1 seed versus
Yes.
number 11 seed. It's how it usually happens.
It's not always fair.
So
Wolfie,
and
what
they
are you-
gave you gave it a run. They gave it a run.
Yeah,
They didn't get
give
swept.
it a run.
what are you breaking it with?
No, you were the tiebreaker on that one. I voted Star
Oh,
Wars.
was I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
so it's
told
Star
you
Wars.
to be swayed by you guys, and he swayed them anyway.
Oh man, this is fun. I like
So
this.
Star Wars was the winner, right?
Yeah, Star Wars is the winner.
Yeah, Star Wars
You
is
got it. You got it. Oh, but it's up for some competition. This next round.
Are we going to the other side next, or do you?
Yeah,
want
we gotta go to the other side now.
Oh yeah. Okay, here's the other side that no one knows anything about yet.
Yeah, hold on, everybody. We're sliding.
Okay. We got Thundercats 1985 versus Marvel Legends, and I think we said that included the Toy Biz era as well.
Sure. I mean, even if you don't include Toy Biz era, but yeah, sure. I think include Toy Biz era.
Marvel Legends is Toy Biz Hasbro.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I mean, for me, it's Marvel Legends. I mean, Thundercats was a good line. They had fun little light up gimmicks and little moving things, but I don't know. I just don't think I don't think it was around long enough. Just a couple years. Just I think Marvel Legends has a ton of characters, better articulation, just a better line in general. So I'm going Marvel Legends.
Yeah. I mean, look, Super 7 has given you a run for this with two simple releases: their Thunder Tank and their Cat's Lair. You can't take that away from Thundercats. But in the end, think about how big Marvel Legends is, how long it's been going on for, everything that they put out, everything that they're still fucking pumping out. I got an entire wave of Marvel Legends sitting in my pile of loot. If there's no Marvel Legends, there might not be. There's probably no Mafex Marvel stuff. There's probably no figure arts Marvel stuff. Like, they did it first with these superhero. Well, maybe not first, but they did it better.
They did it better.
And everybody's been copying them since. So, yeah, I got to go Marvel Legends here.
All right, 2-0 Marvel Legends. Eric B, what you got for me?
Yeah, I gotta agree, man. Marvel Legends has been the consummate action figure line for comic books, beating out the DC line hand over fist in a lot of different ways, beating out many other American retail lines, and they're steady evolving. They've now started to add elements from what we see in the G.I. Joe Classified line with the drop down hips. Giving you more butterfly joints, the in and out wrist movement, the ball pegs. Heck, some of them even have toe tilt now. And they're stepping their game up now with even the maximum line with the Spider-Man. I mean, they are very close to import line figures at this point. And it's going to be hard to beat them.
The one that everybody said was too expensive, but it's sold out everywhere.
Everywhere. Wasn't it $50? And they said that was too expensive?
$50.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Which one was
Welcome
that?
to the big boy
I'm going to
league.
wait for
The
all
Maximum
these.
Spider-Man.
Welcome to the big boy leagues. Listen, I'm over here messing with a freaking Mafex Black Adam figure, and this thing was $105. You're getting basically all this articulation for $50. If you don't shut the heck up, stop playing.
Okay, Joe.
Marvel Legends. I remember getting excited when they came out. I knew of Thundercats as a kid. Gave two hoots about Thundercats as a kid. Tried giving a hoot about Thundercats as an adult. Can't do it. But Marvel Legends, it's still got me. Like, I'm still about picking up figures for that to complete my X-Men set and things like that. So, I mean, I can't add anything to it. Marvel Legends for me.
All right, Gord, you want to throw anything in?
Well,
He's just about to sweep us out.
It does not take sight beyond sight to pick Marvel Legends here.
Well played,
Okay.
sir.
Marvel Legends.
Sorry, Lino. Marvel Legends, okay, takes it. Let's go. We got the DC Superpowers line versus Motu Classics. Okay, I mean, it's Motu Classics. That brought the He-Man line back to life. I mean, I think after the 2000 X line, they went dormant for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That toy line failed.
Yeah, it wasn't a good toy line. I mean, unless you liked your variants of He-Man and Skeletor. But Motu Classics, they went super deep in that line. They gave you every character that was in the original line, and then some, plus even stuff from the 2000 X line that never made it to the shelf. That line lasted, 10 years? A little over 10 years. You got huge play sets like Grayskull and Snake Mountain. I mean, who in that scale, it's amazing. Motu Classics.
Superpowers,
no
have a
doubt.
Batcave, dude.
That Batcave does not compare to Castle Grayskull.
What's your turn?
EE.
Oh, it's Motu Classics. I mean, between, like you said, how deep the line went, for its time, the articulation for its time was okay.
If they had ankle tilt, they'd be better.
The sculpt, the paint, you put in the fact that they did vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put in that Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. Man, there's no question here.
Yeah, no question. Eric B.
Yeah, let's just go keep the party going, man. We're going with the Motu Classics for all the reasons that everybody else said. They also had some of the best mashups I've seen at a retail store. They had the DC and Motu mashups. They gave you better DC figures than you've seen in the Superpower line. So it was just cool to see, man. So I'm gonna go there.
Joe, you want to add anything?
No, Motu. Nothing to add. I mean,
don't do it, E. Don't even laugh at what that dude just said down there. You keep it moving. Go ahead, Joe.
No, straight up. I got y'all are hitting on everything with this. I mean, I truly have nothing to add on this one. It's Motu. In my opinion, Motu beats this one.
What you got, Gordon?
I'm going home.
I'm
already home.
Where did that come from?
He's such a hater. All because I showed Black Adam. This dude's a hater, man. He is my optimist of my hot rod, quote unquote, so to speak. Jesus Christ.
Motu Classics is the clear winner. I love that old Superpowers line. I like those old figures.
Me too. It was hard to vote against it, honestly.
This one's not fair.
It happens.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got the Power Rangers Lightning Collection versus...
No, you skipping.
Oh, am I skipping? Oh, I am.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, here's a good one. I apologize. We have the Star Wars Vintage line, of course, starting in 1979 versus the original Transformers line. I think this is going to be a good one.
I don't.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
This should be a clean sweep.
Maybe you might be right. You might be right. Man, for me, all day, it's Transformers. I mean, that lit the world on fire. The robots that transform into cars. They didn't look like the toy or the cartoon, obviously.
Well, it's because they were in disguise.
I love Joe, bro.
Get him the fuck out of here. Get him out of here.
Can we keep moving, please?
Someone take that back scratcher away from EE. It's distracting.
I mean, again, you got the original vintage Star Wars line. They got the 5-point POA, but I mean, it was a huge big deal. But for me, it's just I love Transformers too much, so I'm going Transformers. EE Prime.
Now, can I take my personal opinion out of this equation? I don't know.
No, it's all been personal opinion.
I'm trying to be honest though. When I do this, Um,
Hey man, this March Madness, you want your team to win. Just
yeah,
vote for your
oh, of
team, bro.
course, but my team's not gonna win. My team ain't even on the list right now. I think. Um, I I don't know, man. Like this is not as easy as you guys think it is. If you really want to be honest, as to how massive that Star Wars vintage toy line is, and everything that it has done. Like there's no Motu without a Star Wars toy line. Motu was literally created because they
Yeah.
passed on the license
That's a
at
good. That's a good
Mattel
argument.
and went to Kenner. Like and then it was so popular that Star Wars was able to sell you IOU figures before they ever even came out. They gave you an IO fucking U, and they were being purchased. Like Transformers is the love. It definitely is. But when it comes to which one of these is the bigger powerhouse, we still are getting Star Wars toys. We are still getting Star Wars movies and TV shows, all in the same continuity. No reboots, no nothing, since these came out.
And they've all been wonderful, haven't they?
No, that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. Baver's movies suck, but we can acknowledge what it done for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's using that same example.
I mean, never mind just the franchise. This is all of toys. Like this is basically your first actual modern action figures. This isn't,
Bring you, I mean
8-inch
not
Lego
bring, or
dolls.
you wait your turn, sir.
I'm just throwing it.
I gotta go Star Wars here. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go Star Wars here. I think it was the bigger powerhouse.
All right.
It's not my favorite. It definitely wasn't. It's definitely not my favorite. But
There's
when
some
you
good
think of the
arguments in there.
impact, when you think of the impact, in the end, none of these fucking toy lines on this list had the impact that Star Wars original toy line had for our generation. But continue.
All right, we got
Yeah, that's
one
cool
thing.
and all.
Go ahead, Eric B. Give
That's
it to
cool
him.
and all, man. But when you think about Hasbro's ability to license figures who are already made overseas and make Americans care about it, and then sell them fiction, then sell them toys, I mean, that's a huge feat in itself. And they were figures that not only were more than meets the eye, like Joe said, or just robots in disguise, but these things like didn't even transform and look like the cartoon, and people still bought them. People still flocked behind them because they were so in love with the idea of these robots becoming real world vehicles, and something for you to actually convert and play with your hands and fiddle with. And people still do that to this day. It's like a Lego for me. Like it used to calm me down in tough times and stuff. It gave me some type of peace just to kind of mess with things with my hands.
Keep in
And
mind,
Mhm.
modern toys are not in this equation. This is just the 84.
No, I know. No, 100%. But I'm just saying, just the idea of
Ultra Magnus.
transforming something back and forth was pretty cool. So I have to go with that. It also sparked my interest to want to go into engineering and stuff like that. It was a springboard for me in so many different parts of my life. So Transformers.
I had no head.
Man, that's cool. That's fine.
You
How's
still
that
bought him.
lightsaber working for Luke? How was that lightsaber? But I'm just saying, man, like it was just, it meant more to me than Star Wars. And I know I probably was the anomaly again, not getting into Star Wars until I was an adult. But man, Transformers was cool. It was just way too cool.
Can I interrupt? And be honest here.
No, your
Yeah.
turn's
I
over.
had 2 Star Wars toys as a kid. I didn't have the line.
Yeah.
I had Transformers. I did not have Star Wars toys as a kid.
Yeah, that's cool. Listen, people had what they had. People could afford what they could afford. I'm sure those were cheaper to buy, and I probably should have had more Star Wars than anything. But I still, when I grew up, I didn't say I'm gonna go get me some Star Wars figures. I was like, nope. Finally getting the Transformers I never freaking had as a kid, and that's what I got.
Okay, Joe.
And that's why I love you, Eric B. Yeah, so I think you all know with me on this one, it's like Star Wars with Gort, but like Transformers all day long. Yeah, like what EE said about the IOUs and just selling cardboard back, saying, hey, we promised to sell you these. The impact that toy line had, and its ability to, like what Eric B said, like this doesn't look like the cartoon, but it's still cool in itself. Those toys still evoke a feeling in me that I get from nothing else. Right? That's my bread and butter out of this whole bracket, right? And like, again, I know now this is obviously the modern Missing Link version of this, but when I had that original Bumblebee, like that's something I could stick in my pocket and go with me everywhere and always had. And when I opened this one up, I got those same feelings of that inner child, that inner Joe, right? That little Joe that I had. And I your company, you take 3 different toy lines, you blend them, you mix and match them, and you make some lore, and boom, tough acting, and that's what you got. It's awesome. I'm going with Transformers.
And there you have it.
Transformers wins it. Gort, you want to add anything into this?
No, he's crying over there with his box of tissues.
No, I think we're just disappointed in you guys is all.
It's okay.
No,
it's okay.
No, because you'd probably be surprised to find out that I'd be voting Transformers.
Oh,
I'm very surprised.
But I can come up with so many things for Star Wars, like good reasons, good arguments for it. But I gotta give it to Transformers.
I think the influence of the cartoon is affecting the love of the toy.
Well, this is about the toys.
Exactly, and that's why I think when you go just about those 2 toy lines.
I just think transforming figures are better than figures that only have 5 points
You're right.
articulation.
That's
just
right.
Me.
But I agree with you. Transformers is the favorite, but was it the actually bigger and better toy line? I don't think so.
Better,
that's the question.
Questionable.
Yeah, but this is March Toy Madness.
I think
it's not necessarily about the bigger or longer toy line. It's about what was important to you.
It's an all of the above.
Yep. So I'm good.
Because like in this case, Star Wars, man, it did a lot for the toy industry. It did a lot for everything. Star Wars as a whole.
100%.
There's a lot of things that are just copycats of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say like the number one thing after that has all the copycats is Turtles. Everything wanted to be that.
Yeah.
Just the same way. But where Transformers has, similar things that, you could point to. It's almost like, well, not really, because in Japan they were already doing all that stuff. So,
and you can't go wrong with either. You can't go wrong with either.
I still gotta say it's like it took all these nonsense toys, put it together, and Eric, you already said it. It came up with a story. It basically did this impossible task, and it succeeded, and it didn't get forgotten like so many other things. Like I think that that's a pretty tall order, and it wins out.
That's funny, Brink. All right, that was a good one. That was a good one there. Next up, Power Rangers Lightning Collection versus the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line from 1988.
Well, I already said that everybody wanted to be something else, and
there you go.
Give me your vote. We'll start with you. We're going to start with you.
We'll go up to
all I have to say is cow a fucking bunga.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to go. Come on, man. Turtles 1988. That was Turtle Mania for years.
Bro,
how many versions of like Leonardo did they release? All the original Turtles. You got like Sewer Bop and Mikey and Pizza Lovin' Donatello, whatever. I mean, the vehicles were out of control. I mean, as far as Lightning Collection goes, I don't think anyone much cares about Power Rangers past Mighty Morphin. I really don't. I mean, they went deep on that line, but like, they don't do it anymore because it wasn't selling. And they gave it to Playmates, and what are they doing? They're doing the original Mighty Morphin line.
Yeah, not only that, they sold off all of their like memorabilia, props. Like they they fire sealed that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Turtle Mania, no question. TMNT, no question. EE.
Yeah, sure. TMNT.
Yeah, it's not hard, man. I'm
I
going
wasn't look,
TMNT
but
too.
1988. I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like toys were done for me right around that point.
Dang, homie, you old.
No, I was 10. I was 10. Sorry, 78.
I was about to say, God.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn.
10. Yeah, I'm not Joe's age, but yeah, toys were already starting to fade. I didn't have any. I didn't have a single turtle toy.
Yeah,
My
he
love
wasn't
of
chasing
turtles
toys
literally
no
just
more.
comes from the actual movies itself, not even the cartoon. Didn't watch it, and Power Rangers is just KO Voltron. So yeah, we go TMNT here.
Eric B, you want to add anything into this?
Nah, man, we got TMNT and just we gonna keep it moving.
Joseph,
Same.
no question.
I had such hopes. Like I do want a representation of my collection of Power Rangers, and I was hoping that Lightning collection would do well. And I saw that Megazord and the Dragon Zord, and I saw reviews and how light and hollow and cheap it was, and I was like, nah, not this.
TMNT by a landslide. Who
I
could have
just got to
guessed
throw
it?
in quickly that Power Rangers being based on Super Sentai existed well before Voltron. So
I don't give a shit. It was a knockoff KO anyway.
I'm just letting you know.
It's Wish Voltron, Timu Voltron.
I'm just letting you know.
Fuck
what
your
the
history.
actual knockoff is.
Yeah. Power Rangers is the Devastator that Scott just bought off of Timu or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah,
That's what it
bullcrap. Let him only
Sorry,
open that
sorry,
on
Scott.
somebody else's hangout.
Oh boy.
Never on our show again.
All right, moving along. We have GoBots versus Jurassic World.
So this another 4v1.
Jesus Christ.
We got another 4v1 over
Look,
here.
Jurassic
need-
Park already got knocked
This
out.
is
and
like-
that's the better franchise.
this is like-
GoBots.
two versions.
Yeah,
of
but
I
this
don't-
is GoBots. But come on, let's go. What do you got, Wolf?
You know, I'm just gonna pick GoBots because they transform. That's it.
GoBots.
Boom.
Oh, it's definitely GoBots. I'm sorry,
GoBots.
it is GoBots. I had
It's
plenty of
GoBots,
GoBots
bro.
as a kid
What
to
are
go
we
with my
doing?
Transformers. I enjoyed them all. I love them all.
Yep.
I even have a vintage one on my shelf over here. So yeah, GoBots.
Yep.
All right, that's
Listen.
unanimous. Let's move it along.
There you go. Yep.
Joe?
There it is.
Gordon, would you want to add anything on this? Because I know you're the Jurassic guy here.
No.
Joe,
Joe,
I-
you wanna-
I'll give y'all my vote.
you did?
you said GoBots, right?
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Derek.
Well, if you had been paying attention to the beginning of the show, you'd know why this happened.
All right, moving along. We have Transformers Chug versus Real Ghostbusters. Real Ghostbusters being the
Ooh.
original toy line. Is that correct?
Yep.
Can I ask a question here?
Yes.
Does when we say chug, does that include like the Unicron? Do we consider
No.
Unicron a chug?
Chug starts with classics.
Classics.
But do we consider that Unicron, the HasLab Unicron, a chug?
Oh, that. Yes.
Oh, yeah, it would.
Okay,
it would
all right, that's all I want to know.
At this point,
As I
it's
made
all
my
under
decision
that
here. But
generation's
continue.
branding, one way or the other.
So that would be anything from the classics moving forward, basically,
Pretty
much.
retail wise.
Non-movie toys, not Cyberverse, not Earthspark or any of that kind
Was
of
it
shit.
classics?
Classics,
Uh,
hentai, universe,
I don't.
generations.
Is it hentai?
It's
call it
hentai.
You want to say hentai?
Hentai?
Really hentai? Hentai?
Hentai.
Hentai? Wolf?
Stop saying
Do me a
it.
favor. Go look up hentai on your
I
phone
know
right
what
now.
it is.
Don't do it. It's okay.
No,
Move right along.
I was waiting for someone to say it wrong.
He knows what it is.
You are terrible, bro. He is a nut.
Man, Derek's shitting on
nut.
our list, man.
Wolfie, don't share screen right now, okay?
No, I'm doing it. I mean, Transformers Chug. Come on, you got transforming robots, better articulation. It's been going on for how many years now, and they're still going. They're always finding new ways to make something. Just Transformers Chug. E.
Oh, it's definitely Transformers Chug. HasLab Unicron alone, that one fucking toy beats that entire Real Ghostbusters line. So,
I don't know, man. That firehouse
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, who are we kidding here?
and Unicron is step on it.
Who are we kidding here? Like that line has done so many crazy things over the years. Let's just talk about the universe part of the Chug. People were buying that stuff to go with their MPs because there was so many different figures you can grab in that it covers so many different swaths of the world of Transformers. I mean, that was an amazing line, and I doubt we'll see anything else like it. Even though they're continuing on now to some modern day stuff, just that little chunk in space of time was something crazy.
Just remember that Chug is also the rise of third party. That's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Add-on
agree.
kits and yeah.
Joseph.
So I think I had more fun playing with the Ghostbusters toys as a kid than what I do with Chug.
Okay.
Like I had the house, I had Ecto 1, I had Ecto 2, of course had the figures and all that stuff. Ease up there, Scooter, whoever that was. I had a lot of fun with those toys, right? But I think more impactful is the Chug. So that's what I'm going with.
Oh, he gave out a deep fake.
Gore, you want to add anything?
No, I'm not calling Ghostbusters. It's definitely Chug.
Oh, is this the first clean sweep? No, that's not it.
No, there's been a couple. We should have kept track of those. We should have kept track of the vote count for each one, to be honest. But oh well.
But I can't say, just like Joe said, I had a shitload of fun playing with those Ghostbusters. And definitely in a way that Chug doesn't even come close to. But what that's accomplished is, something tremendously different. And I still have quite a bit of that stuff.
All right, moving along, we have Motu Origins versus Star Wars Black Series.
All right,
Oh,
this
man.
could be another clean sweep too, but
We'll see.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, there's some arguments here. I mean, Motu. I mean, if you got love for the original vintage toy line, I mean, you're getting it again in an updated form. You're getting the vehicles. You got Grayskull again. You got an Eternia. I mean, Eternia, one of the most sought after play sets of the original series. They did an updated version of that. Again, Snake Mountain. There's a lot to say about the Motu line. I don't think it's quite as easy as you think. But Black Series, boy, Black Series is a tough one. I mean,
let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
My vote is definitely going to Motu Origins. I think that Black Series is a miserable line. It's been very mishandled. But at the end of the day, Mattel got their crowdfund done. And what did Black Series do?
Reva's
Nailed it between their
lightsaber.
legs.
Okay.
Motu
Rancor.
You can make an argument that the articulation is not really that much better on a Black Series figure than it is a Motu Origins.
It's not going to pose better. It might have more articulation, but it doesn't necessarily pose better. All my Motu Origins figures, they stand up. They don't fall over. They all come with accessories. They have paint. Black Series, you might be lucky to get anything with some of those. But endless repaints, endless clones. I understand that Origins is made off the same bodies, but they're all uniquely looking characters. When I say endless repaints, I mean endless stormtroopers, endless clone troopers,
endless Mandos.
Yeah.
With so many missing characters after this line has been around for so long. Yeah, my vote is Origins. You got the Grayskull, you got the Snake Mountain that came back out. You now have the Fright Zone that's now coming back out. You've had the vehicles that they've done. You've had the Eternia playset. They pretty much redid every fucking character from the 80s with articulation that was done. Now they're doing a cartoon collection. They did a widely popular fucking TMNT crossover. Now they're doing a Thundercats crossover. I had a shit ton of Black Series, and that line just gave me nothing but aggravation and grief trying to collect it. Yeah, no, there's no. To me, this is a clear winner on my end. It's Motu Origins.
Joseph.
Motu Origins for me too. I've had a lot. I didn't have any. I didn't have any real. I had one figure I didn't even know it was a Motu figure as a kid. That was Rio Blast. Thank you, Brink. I don't remember. Like, I've got no Black Series stuff, and I've recently, I got into Origins a couple years ago, and I've had so much fun with classics. Like, to the point where I'm considering going ahead. Like, I've got no daggone room for it, but I'm looking at like the Gray Skull. I'm definitely in for the Fright Zone. I have no clue why. That looks fun. I hear more people complaining about Black Series than Origins. And like what EE said, like the disappointment in it, or the missing characters, or this issue or that issue, I don't hear that. And when it comes time to talking about Origins, you know, Star Wars is still ongoing. Like, don't get me wrong, like Star Wars, Transformers, those kinds of things that have been ongoing. Like, it's cool that these things, to think, 40 plus years later, are still around. That's very cool. But after a while, it kind of gets like, how can you, it's like Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime looks away. How many times can you really update him and change him? How many times can you update Darth Vader and make him look any real different? You can change materials and things like that, but you still have something you're sticking with. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I have more fun with the Origins toys, and I have yet got anything Star Wars Black Series figures, whatever. Like I said, I've got two $10 Lego sets from Star Wars. That's it.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I guess I'll be the oddball. I always thought He-Man figures looked dumb, and that didn't change when they started this Origins line. They just gave you more articulation. It's still the same dumb-looking figures. I've never been a fan, and I'm still not a fan.
But they don't have sleeves.
Well, that's my kindred spirit, now, isn't it? But I'm just not a fan, man. I've always thought it looked dumb. I've had more fun with the Black Series, and I get you guys' trepidation on wanting to go with Black Series. They haven't been very kind to you guys, but for me, who cherry picks the line, it's been perfect. I got my Bad Batch. I got a couple of ins and out pieces to kind of fill in the small amount of Star Wars fiction that I do want represented on my shelf. And it's been great for me. So I like the articulation. They look good next to SH Figure Art figures. They look good next to Mafex figures. I'm set with what I have for Black Series. Black Series gave you some of the best face sculpts in the game. They were thoughtful with their accessories when they would drop characters, and I thought that was cool. Motu just gave you extra points of articulations, a few paint apps, and you could basically just add that stuff to your toy stuff that you already had if you had some. So that part is cool, but it's Black Series for me.
Got it. I think Motu Origins again, and they're also good. They're doing the same thing Classics did. They're going deep. They're giving you characters that never got it. Like they're doing Snake Peoples and everything. And again, Eternia, I can't overlook this. They're just the people are giving. They're giving the people what they want. I'm going Motu Origins.
And just to be clear here, you're looking at. I vote Origins. I don't collect Origins at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I kind of agree with you. I think they look kind of silly for this day and age. I don't collect Origins, and I had a huge Black Series collection. And I still put Origins. Wolf doesn't collect Origins either, and he's just now starting collecting Black Series, which I think is a mistake. But he don't want to listen. He'll tell me I was right in about a year from now. But,
just cherry pick it, Wolf. Do what we've been doing.
That's what
Mafex is the main dish.
Love Mafex.
And then next we just add those other pieces on next to it. That's all. You need
Get your cranberry sauce.
Yeah, condiment here or there.
Joe, did you put in your vote yet?
He said Motu.
Yeah,
I had a conversation about it. EE.
No, I didn't know if you put in your vote because we're jumping all back up and down. Everybody's like talking. I just want to make sure your vote got in.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Forgotten.
It's something to quickly say with Origins. This is a line where you can have basically damn near the vintage line to completion, as opposed to Black Series, where they've done roughly half of the original vintage line. They haven't done them all yet. They've missed a lot of key characters. And if you're cherry picking, like, I get it, but that's a line where even if you bought everything, you wouldn't even have a cast from a whole movie. You can't even get like Owen and Baru. Like,
That's
I don't
true,
know.
but let's
Well,
think
they
about
are
it
hot
from this.
figures.
Let's
And I yeah,
Okay,
regular or
Joe.
crispy. Either or would be good.
Where's
But
Mother
let's think about
Townsend?
it. Think about
Where's
it
Mother
as
Townsend?
when you were a kid, right? As a kid, did you literally have the entire line for everything? Fuck no. Nobody did. But you had, well, I'm not gonna say nobody, most people did not. So you had your favorite characters, you had your cherry picked pieces, you had the stuff that was most important to you. Did Black Series do that for you? If you can answer that question as no, then cool. I get it. But if they gave you what you've always wanted as a kid, and this is how I just been judging the whole night, like what feeling did this line invoke for me when I was a kid? And it's giving me what I wanted, which was nothing as a kid. But when I got into it as an adult, like what I latched onto, I got those pieces that I want. Then I've changed them out for Mayfix.
I definitely get what you're saying there. I think it kind of plays more into the ones that we had as children, not stuff that we started collecting as adults, because we can't answer that the same way.
Right, exactly.
But it's either way. Like there's good points in that
There's
department.
support both. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Oh, of course.
I even with the disappointment of how those figures were for Black Series, the glaring holes of missing characters is really, and for how long they've been doing it, it's just really, really aggravating for me. And when I was collecting Black Series, and I actually did have a complete original He-Man collection as a kid.
Oh,
Nice. You and maybe
someone
7
did.
other people in the
Yeah,
United
no,
States.
it was. I don't know what it was. I don't know why my parents were so keen on making sure to keep me up with He-Man. No, even though I'd asked for more GI Joe and Transform. They whatever. I don't know who my mother knew. Maybe my mother knew someone at Mattel. I don't know. Maybe she was cheating on my father with someone in the warehouse.
Hey,
Who
yo.
the fuck knows? Hey, I had an attorney playset. Like
Nice.
Maybe because
I
they
had
loved
one.
you.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, though, the Motu stuff is like you said, it's probably the biggest selling toy line from our childhood, and it was readily available. Like they pumped stuff out.
For a few years, it was the bigger toy line in the 80s. I mean, it had and if you look at it, it had a short run though of being on top, but it had its moments. So did GI Joe back then. So did Transformers, I believe.
Speaking of
but-
GI Joe,
yeah.
I don't think there's. There's no contest here either.
Hang on. Before we go into the next thing here, we are at like an hour and 14. Do we want to just do the first?
I
do
think
the
we're
other
gonna.
ones?
I think it moves faster now.
we've
We've
made
had
a
the
lot of our
conversation about all
arguments
the lines
already. Yeah.
You know, now it's going to be like
true.
pick it and go,
Sure?
pick it and go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
say let's go it.
We got
Hey,
this.
if,
do
if
it.
our show runs a little
Yeah.
longer, guys, too fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
Waiting for an broadcast to hang out.
Your wives don't want to hang out
all
with
right.
you.
I just
Everybody
need
get
to
that
ask a question.
First round.
Good. Good.
Is there a man among us who is not a real American hero?
No,
Wow.
not here. No.
Okay.
Look, it's GI Joe. I mean, come on.
We know.
I mean,
Yeah.
Thundercats, Super 7 Thundercats specifically. I mean, they're going deep, but
Kudos to Snake Mountain
it's Super 7.
and
Cat Slayer.
the whatchamacallit, Thunder Tank. Kudos
Thunder Tank.
to those, but no.
I mean, it's cool, but no, GI Joe. Nope.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
All right. Now this should be interesting.
I think it's easy here. Yeah, go.
G.I. Joe Real American Hero ran from 1982 to 1994. Sorry, that was the last
94.
proper wave before it went into G.I. Joe Extreme and was it the Screaming Eagles line and all that. They brought it back, in Toys R Us stuff after that, but there's a clear break in how they were producing that, so it was never the same. Nothing.
Listen, you motherfucker. These brackets were chosen by a randomizer. We didn't do it ourselves. We didn't decide this. And yes, this is how we're voting. You don't like it? Do one on your show.
Oh,
I think not. I think we won't. I think we're good. I think you guys
all
exhausted
right,
that.
all right. Come on,
I think-
this is all in good fun.
All right, so
I think
Oh,
you-
I'm fine.
You put a back scratcher in EE's hand, he gets feisty.
all right, let's get going on the next round.
All right, Power Rangers versus TMNT NECA. I'm TMNT without question.
100%.
Just for the most of the reasons Gort gave in the first round. I mean, you're getting cartoon
Really?
figures. They're giving you lots of cool stuff, and Power Rangers just doesn't hold up for me. So TMNT NECA.
Okay. So Turtles, Eric.
Yeah, I think it's Turtles.
Yeah, it's definitely Turtles. Joe. It's a tough one. You
Power
thinking
Rangers, screw
Megazord?
it.
You thinking Megazord? I know. I get it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
would
Power
I
Rangers.
would have said that Power Rangers, like for as long as it's been around, really crushed it. As much as I love NECA Turtles, damn.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with TMNT.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, that's
Modern
Motu
versus
82.
vintage.
So we got
Modern
Vintage
versus
Motu
vintage.
versus G.I. Joe Classified.
This ain't hard, man. Come on, y'all. Stop playing.
You're surprised because I know where my answer's going.
I gotta go classified.
All right. Starting
Okay.
with Gort, going to Joe.
Joe?
I'm thinking classified right now as well.
Same.
If
Keep it moving.
if for all the reasons that we just gave to Origins, if that line did not exist, this might be a different conversation. Yeah.
Oh no, I still go Motu.
Okay.
When Classified makes something as big as an Eternia playset, or those castles that even the original Motu line made, talk to me then.
I mean, but EE, they have vehicles that are ginormous,
Yes, and Motu had vehicles.
but not as big as these.
I can tell you. Look, they have two vehicles that were bigger. Go look at some of those sizes, some of those old vintage Motu vehicles. They weren't little.
No,
that wasn't a 3 3/4 line. They
I was
were
being
not 3
facetious.
3/4 inch figures. So no,
They
it
had
still
some
goes Motu for
ginormous
me.
vehicles.
You know, I think Motu was as popular as Classified is right now, and it's all FOMO in the hype because we're all in it right now. The cultural impact and how crazy Motu was at its height in the 80s. I think Motu was the bigger toy line. Talk to me when Classified is over, it might be a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
You know, as Classified is still going, right? So, but yeah. I
Not
go
that my
Motu
vote
on
counts
this.
anymore, but you kind of swayed me towards Motu.
I think Motu did for the toy line back then what G.I. Joe is doing for toys today. Think about what that 6-inch line did to reinvigorate the love for collecting again. I mean, they came out with that line. People loved it. People were hunting for these and could not find them. People were fighting over these in stores.
And that's what made me think
Cobra fucking
between
Island.
the two. That's what made me think of them. Because think about it, if Motu sold out, it was because it sold out at Rose's, Kmart, Ayers, Ames, those stores back in the day, right? You had to physically go to a store to find these. These were selling out online, in store, on their on their own specific website. I mean, you just look at the stuff that went up this week, and how quickly stuff went.
Okay.
So
Motu was selling out in stores.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying
all
it wasn't.
stores. People were fighting over these things, and you had to get your fat, lazy ass off your fucking couch to go and find and buy them. It is very easy to sit there now and plug in a fucking bot to buy your fucking shit that these people are doing to make.
But
these things sell
that
out.
was exactly my point. It's doing today for what modern collectors are doing today. What it did back in the 80s. Like these are the two premier lines. Modern day versus vintage. It was a great matchup. Classified stole the cake.
Yeah.
Classified moves on, but those good arguments there.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Marvel Animated Universe versus Beast Wars.
Oh, okay.
What do you think, Gord? I'm going to start with you again.
Oh.
You need a minute to think about it?
I have to go with Beast Wars.
Okay. Why Beast Wars?
The Marvel line was fun, and I had a lot of that stuff. I probably had equal, if not more, of the Beast Wars, but for me, it was simply just more fun. That's it. And I'm talking just the toys. I can't bring the cartoons into this because that's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
Beast Wars. The toys were significantly more fun for me.
Brian, Marvel Animated Universe was X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. You know, all the toy lines that were coming out of the cartoons in the early '90s. We just lumped it together. It'll be the same thing for DC Animated Universe as well, which is Batman, Superman, and Justice League.
Superman.
I go Beast Wars also.
Yeah, Beast Wars.
Dang, I was going Marvel Animated.
Well, tell us why.
Just because I had more of a connection to the superhero characters during that time. I was a huge fan of Wolverine. I loved comics at the time, and that made me want to buy the toys.
Mm-hmm.
So when I bought the toys, I went in like I got the Magneto with the special effects, the Wolverine with the special effects. The Iron Man was amazing. I wanted a War Machine, but they kept selling out. Like, it was just cool stuff to see all the time. Okay. I had more of a connection.
All right, moving along, we got DC Animated Universe Star Wars 3 3/4. Modern, obviously. Another tough one. I gotta go. I'm going DC Animated U. Yeah, I am. Fuck it. Just because I like DC. Go ahead, EE.
Star Wars is bigger toy line. But it just power to force. Don't compare DC Animated. You don't compare to that toy line.
I don't know, man. Luke's muscles were about as big as Batman's in Power of Force.
I'm going with the DC Animated U, just strictly on the Batman stuff there alone. That Batwing was huge. The Batmobile was amazing. The Bat Cycle, the vehicles with the characters, the many different versions of Batman. It was cool stuff, man. And then I did like the crossover figures that they were doing. So when Batman would come to Superman show and Superman would go there, like that small
those were fun.
Of that.
Yeah,
that was cool. So and then occasionally the Flash would show up, and they were all in the same scale. They were shaped funny, but it just was what it was. It were easily identifiable to the source material.
Joe?
DC Animated for this one for me.
Wow.
DC Animated takes it.
You people are criminals. I think that's criminal.
I'm fucking done with you guys. See, and I hate to say it, I think everybody's getting the assignment fucking wrong.
All right, tell me the assignment, just so I'm telling me I'm getting it right or wrong.
What your favorite toy line was? It's really not. And this is how
I didn't have either of these. So
toy line. So
yeah, like I'm looking at this like,
and to think that DC Animated was bigger than Power of the Force alone.
It's not about bigger. It's what do you think is the best? And then,
but again, it's still I don't see. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
So I'll give you an example. Do you think a Transformers Masterpiece figure is better because it has diecast in it, or you think it's better because it has more articulation in it?
Better than what?
I'm just giving you two things of the same pot, right? They're both toys, right? So, but
yes,
one toy has diecast in it, and one toy has more articulation. Which for you is better? And when you're talking about,
I don't think it all depends. It all depends on the figure. Every figure can be different. There's figures that have no diecast that are not bad, and there are ones with more diecast that do. Like I'll give you a perfect example. And I know we're talking third party now. That Zeta Superion, right? When you put it in combine mode, those are light figures. Not a lot of diecast in it, but that combiner better than a lot of the other combiners that have come out before it. But I think it all depends on how the figure is constructed. When it comes to something like that, when it comes with that much engineering in it, it all depends how they do it.
So you see how you rationalize that, and that's not a wrong choice.
Oh, but I don't. But
That's it.
I
That's all we're doing, bro.
yeah, but I think you're wrong. I'm sorry. I think you're fucking wrong.
That's the great thing about it.
I bet if Lego was on this list somewhere, Lego would not have won. And in all reality, things like Lego and Hot Wheels beats everything on this list.
It's why they're not here.
Yeah, but I think some many knuckleheads would have voted them off anyway.
Or cobots.
Yeah, I just it's just about what I feel.
It's the opinions.
It's the opinions, man.
Power of the Force went deeper than the DC animated universe in its entirety. Okay, so we're up here on the other side of the bracket now.
Marvel Legends versus Motu Classics. What you got, Gort?
Oh,
that's a tough one.
That's Marvel Legends for me.
Ooh.
Like there's a lot of good stuff in classics, but Marvel Legends was big. I don't collect them anymore. I was in on the Toy Biz line. I got out before that ended, and I've bought like 3 total Hasbro Marvel Legends ever. But when I look at them in the store, I think they look great. I just don't have the desire to grab them. And this would be the same for the Motu Classics. I never had the desire to pick those up at the time. Maybe you could blame it on a subscription service or anything else or whatever the situation. But I got to give this one to Marvel Legends.
Eric B?
Yeah, I'm going Marvel Legends. It's not even close.
EE.
Oh yeah, Marvel Legends beats Multi Classics
Right.
by a long shot.
Gotcha. Wolfie had to step away for a moment, so I agree. Marvel Legends has got this one. So
with or without him, we got our answer.
Yeah. So I think this next one is going to be pretty contentious. You've got Transformers 84, so Transformers G1 versus G1 TMNT. Wolfie, since you're back, what's your thoughts on these? You get the first one to make the wrong answer, the wrong decision, and get roasted.
It's a tough one. I mean, both at their peak, you couldn't find these things in stores, right?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you know what I do. Go ahead.
100% giving this to Turtles.
Okay.
Turtle Mania is possibly the biggest thing that I can remember experiencing outside of Episode 1 when the prequels began for Star Wars. But these things were, eventually they started to become readily available. But I just remember not being able to get stuff. Characters flying off shelves or begging. Like, just to get the 4 Turtles took me quite a long time. And I was Raphael, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder. He was grossly outnumbered for the longest time. But Turtle Mania, just almost by itself, is like such a wild part of the equation there. Like, I know Transformers is big too, but I don't know. This is a cartoon series that went for 10 seasons, no less. It's just a wild time. I have to give it to the Turtles. The wacky stickers and all the goofy vehicles, toilet taxi. Like, come on, like that's fucking ridiculous. I still have a lot of my original Turtles, and I'm happy that they started doing the retro ones, just fill in the blanks. You get like the brand new weapons on the sprues. I always like getting that stuff, cutting them off. It was kind of fun. And for most of those figures, it was also a weapon rack. We're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work too well.
No.
Joseph.
So most people would think that I would go with Transformers. And I remember how excited people were for Turtles. And all those people were wrong, because Transformers is the absolute best. I mean, that thing Transformers had it was a wave. Just like, you say Turtles was a wave, and Turtle had all these cool things like with the vehicles and stuff. It hit that, right? But it was the same variations of, the same 4 Turtles, the same 2 bad guys, things like that. You got so many different varieties of Transformers. Granted, it was because the stuff was getting brought in. But, like, I remember this stuff was when I was in elementary school. And I remember growing up with people that had Transformers, that had Turtles when Turtles hit, how Transformers was in elementary school. And I still think there was more hype for the Transformers back then than there were Turtles. So I'm going with Transformers. I think Transformers was definitely the bigger. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but the Turtles wasn't big, because it definitely was. But Transformers, I think, wins this one.
All right, we're split so far. Go ahead, Eric B.
Man, it's for sure Transformers, and it's not even close. Look at the impact the Transformers still has to this day. For adults and kids, it's still one of those things that unites both ends of the spectrum.
That Turtles has also.
Not the same way.
Are you
Turtles
sure?
has. Oh, I'm positive. You show me how many podcasts, how many media that's fan centered or fan driven that still talks about Turtles versus Transformers. I rest my case.
And let me jump in with what you said, Gord. Slide if you could real quick, slide the slide to the left.
Yeah.
So we've got TMNT NECA and TMNT G1. I mean, just in Transformers alone, we've got a lot more stuff there, or at least not a lot more, but more.
I think it's culture. I think it's generational. When you say that it's not even close, I think it is closer than you realize. I mean, my vote is Transformers, but like Joe said, when he was a kid, Transformers were out. Gort, you're almost 9 years younger than us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that Transformers hype he did not experience the way we experienced it.
This is true.
And like with with Turtles, we were getting out. We were starting to age out of it all, and that was his height. That was his, that was his height. So that's definitely generational. The impact. Look, how many times has Turtles been able to reinvent itself successly over and over, and continues to still do it? Same way Transformers is doing it.
Yes.
They've kept reinventing themselves to stay relevant from its inception. So yeah, I think it's a lot closer than we think, but I'm going to go with Transformers on this one.
No, I agree. I agree that it's very close, but I got a wild story, but I'll tell y'all later. Continue.
Before you go, Wolf, if I could, you guys also have to remember that I'm 43, where a lot of you guys are closer to like the tail end of your 40s. So I was right there when Turtles came in.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm a lot closer to that. And I seen the hype of both. And this is why I don't feel it was close. Like, even look at adulthood, kids who were that bag in that era, they not in the Turtles still. They're not. They've abandoned it. Their kids are carrying on that legacy. But those kids, they're on to the technology and video game era. Those were the guinea pigs for that. They're not into it no more. We are carrying this on because we're kids and children of the 80s, where those commercials were ran for us and those toys were ran for us because of the commercials. Like, they targeted that generation. And by me being kind of split into both, I still think that gap is a lot bigger than people understand.
I can't begin to tell you that I think the gap is so much closer, just like E said. Just because you don't know about podcasts or different communities doesn't mean that they don't exist. I think that you're giving a great disservice to even put that image on Ninja Turtles. Like, you have to be honest with yourself when you say that. That is possibly one of the most shocking things I think I've heard the entire night.
So, Gord,
I'm not even making the claim.
This is coming from somebody who searches it out. I don't see it. It's out there in certain swaths, and I've joined turtle groups. It's still not as many turtle groups out there as you would find Transformer groups. Go look. This is from somebody who searched all that stuff out, because I am a collector, and this is somebody who loves Ninja Turtles. I wanted to know more about that new stuff that was coming out because I didn't know much about it. I like that more aggressive looking turtle set, right? Somebody is just remaking that stuff over, and I wanted to find those things. There's not much hype around that stuff. But let a new Transformer come out. There's people who are 10 years older than me who still love Transformers the same way they did as kids. And there's kids who grew up with Transformers that are not into it the same way that we are as adults.
Yeah, but the thing about Transformers that you got to remember, when the Hasbro stuff comes out, there's the steady audience for that, and there's the same steady audience for all the Turtle product that comes out. But even when you get into what third-party stuff is, that stuff is small. Like, it's small time. It's
very true. I'm not even talking about third
but
party. That's a whole different world.
I know. I'm saying in terms of the fandom. But Turtles doesn't even, they don't need to do that. It's already bigger than that. There's no need.
Yeah, but if you're looking at retail versus retail, I don't know, Gore. I mean, the people that's carrying on the legacy for Transformers, I mean for TMNT, is a younger swath of people. Whereas
young too.
Let me ask y'all this. Like, and I know there is a time distinction between the two. Would we know each other? Would the five of us know each other? Be in a group that celebrates this stuff? Be on this podcast if it wasn't for Transformers or if it wasn't for Turtles?
No.
If you take away, that stuff, So.
All right. So
Wolfie, what you got?
No, I know EE was doing the crack research back there.
No, he's just ordering Domino's.
No.
Nobody should order Domino's. No.
I do kind of agree with Brink. I think it was a little closer than maybe, but you're right. Again, this show's not on the air if it's not for Transformers. Let's be honest.
It's true.
But so
good.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, because I voted Transformers also. You don't think there's Facebook groups out there where people become friends because they love Turtles?
I didn't say that.
That's a very good question because I don't know.
It's just that this is us.
That's
like we gravitated.
That's not what I said.
I didn't say that's what you said. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say you said that. It was more Joe who said that would we be together if it wasn't for Transformers? I bet you there's people out there also who have come together and become friends.
100%.
We're just not part of that.
Yeah.
Is all.
No, and I don't say that. But again, they're not the ones on the podcast right now voting on this. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
there's not many pods out there centered around it. It's just not their bag. That's just not what they do. And that's no knock on them. It's just they just not doing it. Maybe in the next 5 years you see it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think that fiction has changed so many different times and it appealed to so many different generations that it's hard to see that. Like Transformers 84 has covered so many other different generations, whereas opposed to like I still watch the old Ninja Turtles to this day. And I do watch some of the 2000 episodes because they were cool. Like the story was good. Mm-hmm. But if I'm not going to go see that movie with my kids, I don't know if I'd still be in the Turtles, man.
So here's a quick question, right? What do we think is the biggest Transformers podcast out there? Do we have an idea what we might want to guess?
Oof. Transformer Center, like proper.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really look for that stuff.
Is it trans? I feel like I heard this recently. Is it Transmissions Podcast? Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. There's a good handful of them.
Yes, they are. There's definitely a good handful of them all. I can sit there and tell you just by a real quick search on YouTube, right? The first TMNT group that came up, podcast that came up, 173,000 subscribers.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a Transformer podcast that has that many. That's why I'm asking. At least the ones that I know of.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They're all within the 20K tops.
Yeah, but
so just to give you an idea of how big Turtles really is.
No, that's a lot. I give you that. That's a lot. But if it's a lot, is it a lot because it's so few?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
It's a
So
TMNT focused podcast on whatever they're doing. I don't watch it, but they have
He's just looking for something quick.
173,000.
No, I'm not.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
so hold
I'm
on, real
just.
quick. I think we're
Yeah.
diving into the weeds. I know we're
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
good discussion, but we're also an hour and 40 minutes in. We still got a good ways to go. I think we might want to chug along, if you would. No pun intended.
No, I'm sorry.
Next
This is
category.
just good conversation too.
Oh,
that we're
yeah.
having right now, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to. I don't want to like just gloss over something because there were some really good points being brought up here. But I get this next one. Listen, chug. GoBots is only there because no one gives a shit about Jurassic World. Just chug it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Not wrong. And this
82
is
Joe line.
multiple
82
versus-
Joe line.
Yeah, you gotta go 82 with the
82
Joe
Joe
line.
line.
All right, Motu Origins versus
Compared to
show.
Origins, yeah.
Yeah,
G.I. Joe.
I think we're in the GI Joe. Gord, you have anything to say about this?
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
Thank you.
Let's
I
go,
will.
Gort.
And again,
All right,
I wasn't
folks,
trying to- I
the
wasn't
Elite
trying-
Eight.
I wasn't trying to kill the conversation. I really wasn't. I just saw us kind of spinning and
Yeah, no, it's okay.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
it's
No,
it's
it's fair.
Thank you for killing combo.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
it's just it's a tough call.
Classified. Classified.
All right, Classified versus NECA. Go.
Yeah, I'm definitely going classified.
Yeah,
NECA.
classified.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, he's right. I have to go back. I got to change it, and I'll tell you why really quick. We got almost a complete, if not complete, turtle line for season 1 through like 5 in a matter of like 6 years. That's unprecedented.
Okay. You Classified, right?
I say classified.
Joe,
Classified.
Gort.
So
There you go.
NECA. So it's
He's going on
three
that.
classified, or are you tied?
I didn't vote yet. Oh, god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's tough. Team and Team
It
NECA
is a tough one.
versus Classified.
And I didn't think it would be this tough either. So that's a tough one.
Man,
Yeah, it's not. Like I gave a quick answer, but it's not an easy choice.
That's not easy.
yeah, I don't know. I'm almost want to skip this one, but I got to give you an answer.
Classified's been around since 2020, right? That's when it kind of hit.
What, Classified?
Yeah.
Classified came out 2020. NECA,
2020 or 2019?
maybe that's when they started showing
More
up in
both?
Target. 2019. That has to be right because they were doing mixes of the packs and they were doing the the
Mhm.
cross sell colors. But prior to that, there was a 2017 box set that they did for San Diego,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
I'm
that's why
going-
we got the toy line.
I'm going Classified.
Ooh,
All right.
That was a tough one.
It is. No
It's-
wrong
hey,
answer there, guys.
those good choices.
No, I mean, I just think Classified, you're getting vehicles, you're getting more stuff. I mean, you're not really getting
You-
that with. Are
You've
you getting that with
gotten
NECA
one
other
vehicle
than one
with
vehicle?
the turtle van in Turtles, and the only thing maybe that is a clear winner for the Turtles in this department, just as like a purchase, you're getting like 2 to 3 times or more the accessories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that is like the coolest thing that they do in that line.
Yeah.
They give you every bullshit doohickey that Donatello ever worked on.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Mhm.
comes packaged with somebody, but you're getting it.
Yeah.
Now this was a
If
tough
you don't- if you
tough
if
choice.
you buy something and you don't know what it is, and it comes with a rock soldier or whatever, maybe it's a Donatello thing. That's how they do that line. Like it's very clever.
He is not wrong, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Beast Wars versus DC Animated U. I got to go Beast Wars. Just again,
Yeah.
at this point, much more interesting line to me. Transforming robots. Again, I think it's just an important line. EE Prime.
Beast Wars.
Yep.
Eric
it's
B.
not close. Beast Wars.
Joseph.
Same.
I
Gord.
can't believe Star Wars isn't here. It's Beast Wars.
It's
Oh yeah, I think it's a joke that Star Wars isn't here.
yeah. Yeah, that's insane.
That Classified is really making it this far is a fucking joke. I'm sorry.
Well, it's
It
where
is,
it,
it
it
is.
happened to get landed with some decent
I know.
things.
Yeah,
If it was on
it's
the
the
other
seeding,
side.
bro. It fell to the right seed. You know how it happens in Sweet 16.
Yep.
All right, let's go. What are we in? Let's see. Marvel Legends
Marvel
versus
Legends and
Transformers
Transformers.
1984.
Oh, oh my god.
Oh man.
We got some haters in the chat, man.
I mean, I hate to say it. Look, man, my vote don't even fucking count no more. Whatever, man. Fucking Transformers, sure. Yeah, you guys go take Transformers. I'm on.
Ah, sheesh. That's a hard one, man. ah. Well,
Go ahead.
This
Eric B.
is
Can you
Marvel
scroll back
Legends.
to the right a little bit, Court?
To
it's
the right.
hard, man, but it is Transformers. It is Transformers. That is the right answer.
Yeah,
Joseph.
if Transformers beat vintage '78 Star Wars, there's no way it's losing Marvel Legends.
Yeah, it's,
I don't know how
that's
you
sorry.
say that.
Yeah.
That toy line on its own merits are what these things are getting judged against. And you want to tell me that 20 years of Marvel Legends, just like 30 years of Star Wars, is now about to lose? You're out of your fucking mind.
Who,
You're out of
me?
your fucking mind. Yeah.
What? What did I say?
Transformers beating Marvel Legends?
Yeah, I think Transformers beats
Yeah.
Marvel. No, actually, I don't. But I'm going with that answer anyway. That's why I laughed in the beginning.
God. It's
It's
Marvel
tough.
Legends.
It's
Transformers.
tough.
So we got from top to bottom, what are we here? I didn't hear who didn't vote.
I didn't vote because again, I think you're right. It's not as easy as it thinks. You got 30 years worth of Marvel Legends versus
Versus the popularity and impact that Transformers 1984 had.
Mhm.
Like, it don't compare when you come with the impact of the two lines. Not even close to Transformers 84.
Yeah.
The impact that it's done for everybody's childhood in here, to everybody's adulthood in here, is all built off that 84 line.
Yep. If I'd never seen another Marvel Legend, I'd be okay.
Ooh,
what are we at right now?
that's why I asked.
Oh, I'm voting Marvel Legends.
Marvel
Yeah.
Legends.
I'm voting Marvel Legends.
I'm
Keep
Marvel
doing that just to
At
mess
this
with
point-
you, dude.
At this point, I'm voting Marvel Legends.
Marvel Legends. Eric B.
I'm going Transformers, of course.
Transformers. Joe.
Transformers.
Gort.
Marvel Legends.
God damn you! You're gonna make Scott mad at me.
There is no particular criteria. That's the problem.
Man, I don't know. It's tough to argue. The Marvel Legends. There's a good argument there.
Which one sold on a dirty mattress?
Hey,
They both do.
That is a
Be
fact.
mindful.
No
Be
chugs,
mindful of
not-
what your
not just
arguments are for this too, because they're going to be coming up in that next bracket.
Yeah, they're gonna come back up against you.
They will
for
haunt you. What you have to say now. Articulation alone is really important on Marvel Legends.
Hey,
Well,
don't threaten me with a hard time, with a
everything with it.
good time.
All right, Wolf. What do you got?
Marvel Legends.
Okay.
Fuck it.
oh my God.
What?
Transformers Chug versus Vintage GI Joe. Real American.
Vintage
Hero.
Joe.
That is the right answer. We're going Vintage Joe.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, Vintage Joe.
All right.
Y'all just messed
Chat
up the
gonna
whole
lose his
bracket.
fucking mind after that one. Especially how quick we was just like.
Just messed up the whole bracket, bro.
All right.
Classified
going-
versus Beast Wars.
I'm just laughing at this shit. at the final four. Wow. I go classified.
Why?
It's a better toy line.
Dude, Cheetor came with a gut gun that you could fill with water. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah, Duke ain't coming with that shit.
He comes
right.
with a snake to the chest.
All right, Eric B, give me an answer.
Yeah, I'm going GI Joe classified.
Classified.
This is classified.
Is that a clean sweep then?
No,
Yep.
4-1.
See, what you have here with these is because both came out for the adult collector right at the right time.
No, Beast Wars was not.
No, I'm talking.
Oh.
Grims. What's up, Grims?
Gort's
My
wife.
bad. Yeah. Hey, Grims. I haven't seen her in a
What's up, Grims?
long time.
Y'all are terrorists.
Well, we're voting for G.I. Joe, not Cobra.
Obviously. I voted Marvel Legends here.
G.I. Joe for me. The toy line had more of an impact. G.I. Joe Vintage had more of an impact than Marvel Legends does then and now.
All right, we got 1-1.
Mm.
Gort, what do you think?
This might be the most fucked one.
Yeah, you asked for it, buddy. That's what y'all get. That's exactly what y'all get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going G.I. Joe.
Man, I'm gonna keep my words to myself.
Hey, man. Vehicles.
Yeah, look like Briggs saying, vehicles, play sets, you know.
Oh, that's the right answer, but I can't in good conscience vote Joe versus Joe here. Out of everything on this line, to sit there and say G.I. Joe is...
Hey, keep in mind, you originally had Transformers for the last one, so, I mean,
I'm going
fought
Marvel
back
Legends
to Marvel
here,
Legends.
bro.
So. What do you say, Eric B?
I'm going Marvel Legends.
What are we 2-2 again?
Mm-hmm. I think. Well, has Gort, have you voted?
I'm G.I. Joe.
All right, I'm Joe. EE and
I voted Marvel Legends, so 3-2 G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe won.
God damn it.
This is all Gort's fault, by the way, guys.
No,
No, he swayed that last one when y'all got to talking Transformers. He put his little 2 cents in there. See, y'all let him mess up the bracket.
Hey,
that bracket got messed up before that. And put in G.I. Joe for
Jeez.
What's wrong? You can't bring yourself to type it?
I'm just waiting for...
You're waiting for me.
Oh.
I don't know.
So it's 2-2. Look, we don't know what the right answer is.
He's got to flip a coin. Crystal, go get a quarter.
I think it's Joe.
No,
going
he's
Joe?
talking
Yeah.
G.I. Joe?
G.I.
Or
Joe.
the original Joe? Joe Colton?
Okay.
Man, so many people are going to hate us after this.
Oh, the hangout should be fun.
Well, to
Yeah,
be
y'all have fun
fair,
with that.
I
I'm
think
out.
there were depending how the brackets went, there was only a handful of things that might have made it here, swiftly. But here we are.
All right. Gort, classified versus Joe, what do you got? Vintage, excuse me.
Oh boy, I have to go with the vintage Joe.
One for vintage. Joseph.
Vintage Joe all the way. Ain't that question here.
Eric B.
I gotta go with classified. I think it has more articulation. It has more of what I look for as an adult collector. And I never went back and got any of my old school vintage stuff that I had. It's just this is what I need.
EE.
Wolf, I want you to answer first.
See, I feel like one doesn't exist without the other.
That is very true too.
This is true.
But which
There's
is
your
a
answer.
more enjoyable toy line? Well, none of this exists without Star Wars 78, and yet that shit got bumped right away, so that means nothing anymore.
You can blame
Well, these
Gort.
Joes don't exist without the 12-inch Joes. I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, that's a
3 3/4 Joe does not exist without 1978 Star Wars.
Hey, you know
That
what?
is a fact.
None of this exists without ball and hoop and stick and ball, or ball and cup.
I mean, we
Two
can
girls,
do a
one cup?
recount if you want. I got to go Vintage Joe.
Yeah, same here. Vintage Joe. It's just, this is another thing where maybe if this was revisited when the classified line was over, and to see how deep and how far they really got. But right now it's Vintage Joe. With everything that line came out with. Can walk just so could run.
G Squared's comment.
That's funny. Well played there, G Squared.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, folks. Real American Hero is the winner. I'm sure people hate us right now.
Can you scroll to the left? Can you scroll to the left real quick before we're going to end this quick tonight? We're going to hit that end button, but.
I mean,
DC animated you should never beat fucking Star Wars. Just, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you people. Go all the way to the other side. Over the other side. And 84. Look, 84 and 78 for Star Wars and Transformers. I still think Star Wars should have won. But that's a lot of valid points. But there's no fucking way that fucking Batman, that Batmobile beat any of that shit. No.
The vintage Star Wars is one thing, but the 3 3/4 is the one that shocked me. But even if we got that there to the end and it was against either Joe or Transformers, I think that there's the tough conversations. But,
yeah, but it would have been a better bracket.
But it
would have made more sense.
At least look correct.
You're welcome to go complain in a Facebook group.
I'm gonna fucking rage. Tune in on EE Prime YouTube podcast after dark.
You can have your own bracket after this tomorrow. You can start over again if you want to. So get some real people on who know what they're talking about. Right?
Yeah, let me get something in quickly. We didn't go over the criteria for how we were going to do this too much, and it was just all about like what arguments could we come up with. But it was supposed to be specifically more about the toys more than it is about anything else that's extending from it. And we made plenty of comments about a lot of that as factors or things. You're just talking about the mania or fandom, but in some cases that's driving what the toys were doing too. But the next bracket that we have planned,
don't worry about it. We'll tell you.
Yeah, it'll be a ways out. We're not saying what it is now, but we will make sure that our criteria is down for that one.
This was fun, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Whole bracket.
No, this was
joining us.
There was some controversy, but there always is with these things. But there was some good conversational here.
You see, in the end, though, Real American Hero, G.I. Joe, it's a valid winner. Yeah. Like, it might not have been but it's up there in those top. Like, you can't be mad that one won, as opposed to, like, if Marvel Legends would have won, I'd have fucking laughed. And don't get me wrong, same thing with Motu Origins, or imagine if GoBots won somehow. Like, come on. So,
Anyway, that was regardless of the outcome, that was a fun conversation. I hope you guys sort of enjoyed that. We're gonna do more of these. Maybe they'll be better. Maybe they won't. But thanks for Eric B for joining us tonight. I thought that was real fun. Thanks for playing Tiebreaker a couple times, and we'll be back next week with a hangout, and you can come argue with us in the after hangout here going on right now.
I'm sure there are gonna be some interesting conversations tonight.
Yeah, bring your aluminum pole to air your grievances. Festivus comes early.
All right, guys. I think we're done. 2 hours. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Say it with me now. Round.